that fantastic day one run, and Tanner just playing fantastically at pretty much any event he goes to. That's going to be Jeremy on the left and Tanner on the right, for anyone confused.
Yeah, Tanner's someone who's been around for a very long time, was an absolute dominant force in the seniors division several years ago, someone who was just constantly winning regionals after regionals, and he's done very well as a master the last couple of seasons. A super dad there. I'm sure he's going to be excited to try to show his stuff here on the stream, needing to get another win to hopefully lock it up. And if if Tanner comes away with a win in this one, he'll be able to ID that last round to get to 35 match points. Jeremy is fine with a win or a tie, being at 34 points now. One more of either of those gets them to the 35.
Yeah, I mean, a win from here just really helps him push up the standings as well and impact that seeding. Of course, we do play a very traditional seeding, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 6, etc., etc. I say etc., etc. It's probably just as long as saying 3 versus 6 and 4 versus 5. But that's by the by. But, you know, if you are a top seed, you know, you do get to play somebody who maybe came in just on the bubble or had a slightly tougher time, which statistically should be an easier matchup, right? On the day, you are a higher ranked player, so that should be a little bit of benefit for you. But, you know, Tanner as well, you know, being able to fight up and match up very nicely here. You know, if he takes the win off Jeremy here, they're going to be in the same record. That last round, yeah, there could be IDs, but there could also be just, you know, just push for it.
We are going to be seeing a mirror match here, Adam, and I don't think we've actually had a mirror match on the stream quite yet through this weekend. Both of these players are on the Mew VMAX deck, the Fusion Strike-less Mew VMAX. No Meloettas, no Fusion Strike Energies, no Alessa Sparkle, tons of double turbos. We've got cross switchers, Marnies, Averys, all kinds of that stuff going on. And I'm excited to see how this mirror is going to play out. We're going to undoubtedly see some big pushes to try to find a bunch of damage modifiers in one turn, try to piece together one-hit KOs on Mew VMAXs, or potentially just chasing down a bunch of 2-prize Pokemon. Theoretically, if you go first and you can just take a 2-prize knockout turn after turn after turn, that's your game. That's your win right there.
Yeah, I mean, looking through the list, they do have a small couple of adaptations. We'll see if they become relevant, though. I don't know if they're going to be absolutely huge, but they, you know, they could be the difference maker in the mirror matchup, and it really depends on if either trainer has prepped for the mirror. Of course, you know, there's a lot of stuff very, very similar, but those odd choices, maybe extra one-offs here, or maybe dropping one card there, could be a kind of factor to track across this whole set.
One of the key cards, I think, for this matchup is going to be Avery. Of course, draw 3 cards, and then your opponent has to discard Pokemon from their bench until they only have 2 remaining. So how do these players play around their opponent's Avery? How do they go aggressive with their own Averys to try to limit their opponent's bench? We'll undoubtedly see some crazy plays there. You could even theoretically do some stuff with double cross switcher, bring a piece up, and then Avery, force them to discard multiple good Pokemon. All kinds of great plays we could see happen today.
And we saw that in the last round. We saw that with the Stone Journey. The Oricorio was thrown up, actually. Not even pulled up by something like a Boss's Orders or a Cross Switcher. But then the Avery came down and was really problematic. I mean, forcing away one of those either Mews or cutting down those Genesects so you have access to less Fusion Strike systems is really, really impactful. There is a difference in the Avery count across these decks, though. So if you're calling it as a big factor, you know, having more Avery could be a big difference maker for these trainers.
Absolutely. Both of these players also rocking the PAL pad, a way to recycle any of these powerful supporter cards. So we could see multiples of them. Pokestop's also going to be a huge card in this matchup. Who has unfortunate luck? Who's able to hit a bunch of items? And speaking of Avery, each player so far prizing 1.
Yeah, there's an Avery down for both trainers, along with a Mew for both of them, but the Oricorio in that for Jeremy, which is a big factor when it comes to these damage modifiers. Being able to reduce that damage, force an extra modifier out of Tanner is really, really big here.
Yeah, the damage reduction can really come into play in this mirror match. Things get a little tough because, you know, you're doing 210 with Technoblast, but it's really minus 20 for the double turbo, and then we've got the buffs in there. It can be a lot of math to keep up with.
And that's why we always track it along with these numbers. I mean, when you add the power tablets in, you're doing deductions, you're doing additions. Fortunately, it's not the biggest numbers, and I'm usually pretty decent at being able to go with it. But Tanner starting us out on this one with the Cramomatic, hitting a Tails on that one, discarding the switch, not getting anything out of it, following it right up with an Ultra Ball. 2 Boss's Orders hitting the discard from that one. So he's obviously relying on those cross-switcher plays later, but he's now going to be able to go in and take a good old Butchers through his deck.
And that is both Boss's Orders being put down into the discard discard pile for Tanner. So it will have to be the cross switchers, or he will have to find the pal pad in order to put those boss's orders back in.
Yeah, the boss's orders is something that can close out a game really quickly. If you could pull up maybe a Genesect and be able to knock that out, that would be absolutely huge. Speaking of Genesect, that's exactly what Tanner decides to pull with this Ultra Ball. So getting access to the Fusion Strike system could be a big help for him here. But, you know, throwing away 2 boss's orders, you've got to wonder what's in the rest of the hand that is so vital that he gives up 2 of these very important supporters. Maybe it's the pal pad. Maybe it's straight away right there. But do you want to do that, or do you want to recycle maybe a boss and an Avery? That's certainly the difficult piece.
Opening up too many supporters is definitely tough for this Mew VMAX deck when you're wanting to just draw a bunch of cards, and especially on turns like this where you're going first and you don't have the option to play your supporter cards. Yep. It looks like it will be a Fusion Strike system just for 2.
Yep. And it's looks like it's going to be another Mew. The Fusion Strike system not being too great. The Pokestop going Pokestop trekking shoes, and one of those double turbo energy hitting the discard pile. Those have been an essential resource. Follows it up with the trekking shoes, takes a little peep, checks against the hand. The cross switcher hitting the discard.
So much gust.
And then he hits the Rotom phone. So the Mew is hitting the bench. He's got a power tablet and the Rotom phone in hand. So, you know, we'll be able to take a look, guarantee a good draw for the next turn, potentially. But, you know, Mew getting switched into the active one retreating, the one with the choice belt on, and a pass from Tanner over to Jeremy.
And I like his decision to hold off on using the Rotom phone there, because what he top decks could affect what he wants to find next turn. And your Rotom phone interacts super well with both Fusion Strike system of Genesect and the Pokestop. If you find an item card you really want, you just put it on top and then boom, use your Pokestop, get it off of the Rotom phone, and you haven't even used your Fusion Strike system yet.
Yep, well, it's going to be a very similar looking turn for Jeremy. Starts out with the Genesect, then goes in with some trekking shoes.
But does find the key card Tanner was unable to.
Ends up with the Battle VIP Pass. So 2 basic Pokemon from the deck onto the bench. Plenty of options in this deck. The follow-up of another Genesect. And then he could, of course, grab another Mew if he would like to. Or that Oricorio as well. Plenty of choices. He would be able to grab the Oricorio if it wasn't in his prizes.
Oh, that's right.
It's probably a good thing to remember. And that's probably what he's looking for now, I'd imagine.
It's definitely something worth checking out and making sure, you know, either you do or you don't have it. Yep. And I'll be interested to see for sure if Jeremy goes past this bench size right now. He definitely wants another Mew down because Tanner is threatening the first KO onto a 2-prize Pokemon.
Yep, well, he's going to follow it up with the Quick Ball, so it looks like that bench will be expanding chip after 3 Genesects, 1 out of the hand, and then 2 from the Battle VIP Pass, filling out the bench, gets rid of the Echoing Horn, and as you mentioned, grabs that second Mew, so being able to get that one nice and ready. The hand is still looking like it's got plenty to play in it. He's got another Quick Ball, it does have a Cramomatic, that's getting rid of the Ultra Ball, and this Cramomatic will hit, so able to dive on back into that deck and just keep on going.
One of the most powerful cards in the deck, allowing Jeremy to get any one card that he wants out. And it looks like Boss's orders being brought to the front. I wonder if he's hoping to slow Tanner down this turn, bring up that Genesect, force him to find a switch card. We did just see a cross switcher hit the discard pile, so it could be a difficult thing for Tanner to find.
Yeah, the amount of gust that went into Tanner's discard that turn is pretty jarring. It's going to be a Quick Ball, discarding the Pokestop off this one, so making sure he can keep on going and maybe even fill that final bench spot. Obviously not too concerned about the Avery that we were talking about at the top of the day, if that's the case, but he's digging on through, trying to grab another one of those pieces. It's going to be another Mew by the looks of things, as that's what he pulls to the front. But once again, just making a double, triple check on all of the options in his deck.
And by filling the bench, he will be able to at least Fusion Strike system and fill the hand quite a bit more, dig for some more pieces, thin the deck out as well. Tanner probably taking note. Okay, no Oricorio there on the bench. Maybe Jeremy's trying to save it for later, or potentially it is prized, which we know indeed it is. And there is that boss.
The boss's orders bringing up the Genesect. Not the easiest Pokemon to move compared to the Mew, which does have, of course, free retreat, but there are switching options. And the cross switches, would be a really good way to do it, but it seems like Tanner's been very liberal with those. Big Fusion Strike system, manages to get, a number of Pokemon, or another number of cards back into the hand, including a double turbo energy for his Mew. Next Fusion Strike system, another Cram-O-Matic.
Okay.
Could keep on going with this if he wants to, but it's just going to be a pass from Jeremy.
And I like that he
resets it.
chose to do that because the item cards to discard in the hand were power tablets.
Mhm.
Wisely realizing that these are important cards for later on.
Yep.
I need to hang on to them so that I'll have access to push through a big VMAX on Tanner's side.
Well, we were saying Tanner was looking a little light on his Gust options, and immediately Pal pads in those 2 bosses orders. So 2 supporter cards from the discard back into the deck. You've got 2 of the same one, and they're 2 of the important ones in this matchup. So they go right back in, and he shuffles it up. But he's still lacking a couple pieces, I think, and a much smaller bench. I mean, a Fusion Strike system isn't going to be ideal. There's the Rotom phone that he held onto at the end of last turn. Another Genesect. Both of those bosses coming right back to the fore. Power Tablet as well, but it looks like they're just going back into the deck.
I think that Genesect was the grab, and what's great about this Rotom phone is that if Tanner had found an item he could really want, he would just be able to grab it with Pokestop. If there's a other card, like a Pokemon, like a Genesect that he wants, he can just play the hand down. There's only 1 card remaining in hand, and now he'll be able to Fusion Strike system into it. And of course, this Genesect will now be able to Fusion Strike system as well.
Well, speaking of power tablets, there's going to be one played for this turn by Tanner, so he's making sure that, you know, that Genesect that he just put on top is available with the Fusion Strike system, going back up to 3. And there's going to be the follow-up Genesect, so we can Fusion Strike system again. But he empties the hand even more. Another quick ball, discarding the Battle VIP pass. Another Pokemon available for him, and it's going to be 1 more of those Genesects. So every time he gets one of these down, those Fusion Strike systems, of course, relying on how many Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play, are getting more and more beneficial.
So by going first, Tanner is definitely at an advantage in this game if he can get a knockout this turn. If Jeremy's boss's orders is able to buy them a turn and Tanner's not quite able to piece together a 2-prize knockout this turn, then all of a sudden Jeremy's going to jump back out into the lead.
And, you know, there's really going to be a number of pieces needed from Tanner to make sure he can get this. He follows up with the next Fusion Strike system. It's a Silene, Amani, the Mew VMAX, and the last card is another one of the power tablets. Oh, 1 more to go. And it looks like it's more power tablets. So he's holding on to all of those. It does evolve into the Mew VMAX, but he needs to kind of thin the hand. He's got 1 more Fusion Strike system. Oh, he has the Mani to play. Yeah, he hasn't played any supporters. So, yeah,
That's right.
Can keep digging. He'll go to 5, and then anything he can play can then be turned into another card with the Fusion Strike.
And still has use of that Pokestop this turn as well, so we'll see plenty of digging.
Well, that's one of them.
That is a key piece. That double turbo energy is step 1. Needs some more playability out of this hand.
Okay. He's got the 1 cross switcher, which would be really big here because he could target down a Mew off the bench and get his Genesect out of the way. The one with the energy would be premium, of course. But, you know, he saved those power tablets too, which is really, really helpful. Gets the double turbo energy down. He does have another one that's stuck in the hand. Benches the last Mew. I think he's got to be going for it with this Fusion Strike system. He's got
3
another
cards.
Battle VIP pass and a Rotom phone. Oh, and the Oricorio.
Does not find it just yet, but has 1 more option. This Rotom phone can peep the top 5. Let's see if there's a cross switcher.
Well, there's a Cram-O-Matic. There's the cross switcher. Yeah, he's going to put the cross switcher on top, and then he's still got the Pokestop to go this turn and grab it right out. So he is going to be able to pick up the pace, and that boss's orders from Jeremy not paying off.
And I think it was Jeremy's best play, and it almost worked. We see how close this was. Now, there is a chance that this Pokestop could be pretty painful for Tanner, of course. Will guarantee the cross switcher, but what are the other 2 discards here?
Yeah, he left the cross switcher there.
A double turbo? Okay.
Okay, another double turbo and another Pokestop. But the Pokestop's really not contested in this matchup. They're both playing it, so that's not too bad. But the cross switcher grabs the Mew with the energy, and then, yeah, double turbo energy and a choice belt over on his Mew. Going to have access to a nice, easy knockout here for 2 prizes. So Tanner jumping into the lead into this very fast matchup.
Taking the first KO, taking the first 2. I wonder if Jeremy could have a really powerful turn here. If he can pull together a ton of power tablets and a choice belt, it needs to be a lot of modifiers, but there's no Oricorio in play for Tanner. So with 4 damage modifiers, that's 1 choice belt and 3 power tablets, Jeremy could score a 1-hit knockout.
That's a long way to go, though. I think it's a big stretch, especially with what's in the hand right now. Looking a little lackluster. Does have the Rotom phone. Could get one of those pieces guaranteed off the Pokestop, potentially, just like Tanner did. And can, of course, thin the hand a little bit. He's got the quick ball in there and would be able to, you know, dump out some cards. But he's starting off with the Rotom phone. There's a quick ball, Battle VIP pass, another Ultra Ball. Looks like we do have the power tablet. There we go. 5th card off the Rotom phone was the power tablet. So could put that on. But again, risks throwing away too much with the Pokestop.
And Jeremy knows that there are 2 double turbo energies in Tanner's discard pile. So if he can push and get this knockout, take out this third double turbo energy, just maybe there's a chance that Tanner's unable to find that fourth and final copy.
Yep.
Now, of course, Tanner does have plenty of ways to do so. Cram-O-Matic flipping heads, or also Silene putting a double turbo on top of the deck. All of these things being options.
Yeah, tracking shoes coming off alongside that power tablet. So plenty of options. And he's going to boss his up another one of these Genesects. So he's not reaching for that big 3 pies knockout that you were talking about last time.
Okay.
Maybe looking for something a little more manageable. Pal pads, once again, 2 boss going back in off the pal pads.
I wonder if Jeremy's going for like a stalling tactic in this first game, seeing that Tanner had to lose some cross switchers.
It wasn't the power tablet he put on, it must have been the boss. They were both full art, so apologies for some confusion there. But managing to get the Ultra Ball out, you know, and then get the Mew VMAX through.
So for switching cards, Tanner plays the 4 cross switchers, the 1 copy of switch, and then also the 4 double turbo energies work as switching options because you can attach to a Genesect and retreat it.
But now they would, with that last one, would be very wasteful to get it out. So he's got to dig for the switch or a double cross switcher. Of course, you know, another Fusion Strike system from Jeremy. He's going to show what it is, but I imagine he'll probably try and play it anyway. Another double turbo coming through and a Battle VIP pass. Yeah, the...
that is...
that's the wrong one, Jeremy. There we go.
The wrong orange card.
He showed the Cram-O-Matic by dropping it. There it is. Just a nice, easy correction. And a Tails on this one. So missing that one. But he got to get rid of the Battle VIP pass. You know, does have the option with 1 more Fusion Strike system, I believe, to keep on going. You know, and can make that even more worthwhile. Gets the Choice Belt down. Ooh, lingering on it. Yeah, Choice Belt onto the active Mew VMAX. I think he is going to try and take the 2 prize knockout and another Fusion Strike system for 3 more cards. This knockout doesn't require the power tablets. He is just going to be able to get there, especially with it. But one of those power tablets does hit the hand off that. Cram-O-Matic back in the hand, mulling it over a little bit. You know, doesn't really. He's got a pretty full bench. You know, he's just sort of planning out this turn. But you know, a lot of thinking to do on this one. The 2 prize knockout would keep him on pace with Tanner, though.
And Jeremy will take this KO. It makes me wonder if Jeremy's trying to go for a strategy of knock out a Genesect and then maybe Avery force Tanner to discard a couple of Genesects and leave Tanner with very few options. But realistically, all Tanner has to do is play 2 bosses orders. 1 this turn, 1 next turn, and he's won the game. Yeah,
and he's got those bosses orders back in the deck with that early pal pad. Both trainers valuing that card so highly in the matchup. So moving on over to Tanner's turn, he's going to start, you know, seeing what he can get done on this one. But Mew VMAX, Mew V in the active, free retreat, no concerns there. Unlike when he had the Genesect stuck up.
Absolutely. Shuffle the deck up. Needs to play the hand down a little bit more. There is another Genesect and the Mew VMAX.
Oh, wow. Yeah, another Mew VMAX coming through means you know, doesn't even need to be concerned about any retreating in that turn. We know he does have access to the double turbo energy
and
in
Tanner,
there as well.
Is holding off on attaching it here, and I think that's because he wants to have the pivot option if Jeremy was to ever bring something up like a Genesect, right? Because if Jeremy goes for a boss's orders, stalling, slow down play, Tanner would have to dig for that 1 copy of switch that he plays. Of course, 3 cross switchers are down, so he wants to hang on to this double turbo to keep that option live.
Yeah, well, he's got the other Mew VMAX built up as well, evolved it on this turn as well, so things going pretty well here for Tanner, being able to set up the board very nicely. Both trainers foregoing the Aura Choreo in this matchup, even if they have access to it. So those damage modifiers from that are not going to be present. Jeremy taking a peep through the discard, probably trying to count those energies and switching cards as another Fusion Strike system comes through for Tanner. That's going to be a Cram-O-Matic, a Cross Switcher, and another Cram-O-Matic, so plenty of choices there on potentially digging through the deck. Cram-O-Matic discarding the Battle VIP. No, not going to get that one. And I think now his options are so limited because you don't want to discard either of these pieces. He's going for it, though, with the Cram-O-Matic and another Tails.
That is brutal.
That's 2 cross switches in the discard now. So I think that's all of them.
That's
yeah,
4.
He discarded 2 of them, but then he drew, you know,
one got discarded on turn 1.
He used them. There's a good couple of power tablets off this Fusion Strike system, though. Another Cram-O-Matic, but it might be, you know, a little bit late. Looking for the boss, maybe, and he's finally got it. 3rd time's a charm.
And I think I know what this is going to grab. The boss's orders being brought right to the front from Tanner. He knows that his easiest path to victory is just using this a couple times. Though if he's got a bunch of tablets in hand, he could push through this active Mew potentially and then go for a big boss on the next turn while having 2 in the deck. So what he may do here, I think he did take the power tablet, is try to hit enough modifiers, take this out. He needs a total of 4, so 3 power tablets to be played this turn.
And he's got the choice band already on the bench one.
And there are the 3 tablets now doing 310 damage exactly with the Techno Blast being copied by the Cross Fusion Strike. 2 prizes to Tanner, 2 prizes remaining now.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually
3
3
prize,
prizes.
right?
Yeah,
That's
he's going to
right.
get 3 off the VMAX. And holding onto that double turbo makes so much sense now, right? Manages to get that one into the active. It's 4 Genesect in play for Jeremy, so he's going to be really trying to dig. But he needs to fire back this turn, or Tanner just has the easiest options for the knockout.
And Oricorio does come down, so Jeremy will get the full up to 6 of the Fusion Strike systems from these Genesect. We do see Cramomatic here, another flip incoming.
That's going to be a tails on that one. Not good Cramomatics this game from
might
either trainers, but you only need 1.
We might need to get some new dice up there on the table. These are not working out very well for either of these trainers.
Well, Jeremy's got to start reaching himself, so he's got the 1 power tablet in play, and his first Fusion Strike system nets him another one alongside the Ultra Ball. I believe that's his last battle VIP pass and the Pokestop. There's the second one in play. But thinning this hand could be a little bit interesting. I mean, he's got the Ultra Ball, could get rid of the Pokestops. Yeah, get rid of those and go for another Fusion Strike system.
Yeah, these players know that the only stadium either of them has is Pokestop. So it's a free discard choice off of Quick Balls, Ultra Balls, and also something you don't mind milling off of your own Pokestop usage.
Yeah, he's going to need to go a little bit further, though. Doesn't have the choice belt available yet on this Mew VMAX and had to use the Ultra Ball to get the VMAX there. So it makes a lot of sense. I think he's playing very, very smart, but could fire back with this 3-prize knockout of his own.
Jeremy does have the Silene in hand, and that can actually reuse these power tablets, because even though he's left them in play, they are in the discard pile. It's just kind of left there as a reminder, okay, these have been played this turn.
Yep.
Starting with a Pokestop, though.
He's going to discard the boss's orders, and he takes the trekking shoes alongside, the discard that could hurt a little bit, actually. You do want to be able to play those. Here comes the trekking shoes.
There's a damage modifier. It is the choice belt.
There's the belt. I think you have to take it. I mean, he's got a lot of Fusion Strike systems to go, too. I mean, the Genesects being pretty available here. You play the Silene at any point. If you don't hit, it's sort of a backup option, a Battle VIP pass, a Cross Switcher, and a Rotom Phone. So he's still going through the deck here.
Can play the Rotom Phone, maybe try to find a 3rd power tablet this turn.
Let's see. This is going to go...
There's a Cramomatic.
Cramomatic, yep. There it is.
That power tablet. That is a huge grab.
Oh, 2 of them.
Has a choice of either, whichever will work. And now Jeremy will guaranteed draw into that. And I think what Jeremy's holding off on, he's got the option to have either gone for Silene or hold off, use this Fusion Strike system, and then go for Avery. And a crushing knockout of the active Mew VMAX. And Avery forced Tanner to discard 2 Pokemon, is taking 3 Pokemon out of play in one single turn.
Yeah, I like that. The Avery is going to come through for Jeremy. And now it's up to Tanner to discard his bench down to 3. So 2 Pokemon got to go. It's going to be the Mew VMAX and the Genesect. So keeping 2 of the Fusion Strike systems. There's the 3rd power tablet, as you mentioned earlier, with the 3 power tablets, the choice belt, then the reduction, of course, from the double turbo energy. That sets it up beautifully at 310, which is exactly enough for a knockout, exactly enough for 3 prizes as he fires that one off. The max, the Cross Fusion Strike.
1-to-1 prize
being able
remaining.
to pull this. Yeah, this is a crazy one as he takes, Jeremy lingering between those last 2 and
Tanner
he takes
just
the
needs the
Avery.
boss. Tanner just needs boss's orders at this point. He's already got that double turbo energy in hand. Discards the Silene. Does he find boss's orders?
Yeah,
does
he
not
can't play
look like it.
He's got the Oricorio, which he can put down to help out, retaliate against that Avery and the Mew. So these Fusion Strike systems are going to be there. Double turbo energy goes down, so he's drawing even more cards.
Only 2
There's
here.
one.
There it is, the boss's orders. Tanner, still needing, though, 1 more modifier. Does not quite have it yet. Oricorio came down.
Yeah, the Oricorio coming through is big. There's the boss's orders. So the Oricorio bringing it down to 190 and the double turbo, bring it down even further. 1 card, the Ultra Ball, not going to be enough.
It comes down to the Pokestop here. And he doesn't have a modifier left in the deck, actually.
Yeah, he's Ultra Balling, so he's checking. He needed to Silene and try and get there, but wow. This game is going so close. He checks it with the Ultra Ball and knows knows there's no point. Has to
and
scoop.
he scoops. Tanner is 1 damage modifier away from taking this game, taking the KO, and Jeremy is going to get the win here in game number 1.
Yeah, Tanner conceding this one. I think Jeremy a little bit shocked by that. I mean, Jeremy didn't.
We already came this way. Let's play it now.
Technically, you know, have it. You know, he needed to still find a way to switch things around, but he had the modifier in the choice belt.
And this is a huge, huge miss for Tanner because he went first in that game. And now Jeremy gets a win, going second, and is now, if Tanner is able to win a game 2, would be going first in game 3. So Tanner knows Jeremy is now in the driver's seat, definitely at an advantage.
And Tanner was the one that took the first knockout. I mean, they both went through the exact same routine. They went 2 prize knockout, 2 prize knockout, 3 prize knockout, 3 prize knockout, and all Tanner needed to do was find a way to get that single prize knockout.
Exactly. And I think maybe, I can't remember exactly if a power tablet got used a little too early from Tanner potentially. It seems like everything came in just at the right time. Maybe a choice belt got discarded off of a Cram-O-Matic, which really, you know, those modifiers are super important. Having to discard the 2 boss early, using your POW pad to get those back, and also having to discard that cross switcher super early on. All these one-of things, very minor things early, come back to be a big deal when you get to the final turns.
Well, there's a couple of things that intrigued me about that one as well. It's just how impactful the Avery was.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Avery was really, really good, and
For
you know,
sure.
having access to that was huge for Jeremy.
So Tanner was just at 1 prize remaining there at the end, right? And I think
He
maybe
could
what
have-
happened...
He bossed the wrong thing.
Yeah, so Boss's orders could have brought up that Oricorio, correct?
Yeah,
So I think Tanner maybe got tunneled on the fact that he needed to go 2 prizer, 2 prizer, 2 prizer, forgetting that on that second knockout, he actually KO'd a 3 prize Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't boss the Oricorio. I
Wow.
was looking at it a little bit confused, asked for a little bit of clarification from you, Chip.
Yeah.
But it's just a misplay from Tanner there at the final hurdle of the game, and that is devastating. That's got to shake you a little bit for this final one. I think when he realized he couldn't find the modifier and he'd made the mistake, it's like, just get me out of this game. Let's go game 2.
Maybe he was thinking, not considering the Oricorio and thought it doesn't matter what I boss
Yeah.
up, and then realized, oh snap, I need a modifier, and just didn't have it. Wow.
Yeah, that seems like a big misplay to make. But, you know, it's still a very top table. There is, of course, the additional pressure of pushing for cut. But unfortunate there for Tanner.
Well, we will get this next game going. Tanner will have the advantage of going first again in this game.
And that's something that worked out very well for him. It's going to be a little bit longer before we get into it as we see the mulligan come through for Tanner Hurley.
Do have to say, I did get a little peek at Jeremy's hand, and it is stacked. Already sitting with 2 Battle VIP Pass.
Oh my goodness. So that is, that's a lot of cards.
Yes.
That's 4 Pokemon, actually, going right down onto the bench to start. And, you know, Tanner can't do anything to disrupt that in the opening side of it. Saw the prizes, nothing too crazy or impactful there. We'll take a look when Tanner's come down as well to contrast and compare.
So this is a really important one here for Tanner. Needs to get a win in this game to force a game 3. If there is a tie in this match, that would actually lock Jeremy up still for top 8. And then Tanner would need to win the final round. But a loss here would eliminate Tanner almost certainly from top 8 contention, as 11-3-1 is going to be on that scary bubble.
Yeah, that's going to be a real tough one. But, you know, strength of schedule would help out. And if Jeremy's going to keep on going,
that's true.
Then that's going to really help you climb up that bubble as well. So something to consider for Tanner, and definitely needs to play out that last round. But there's still time. These games can go pretty fast. And, you know, if your opponent just doesn't get set up, then you could be in a position. So you've got to shuffle it up and see what you can do. Obviously, Tanner doesn't know that Jeremy has 2 Battle VIP passes, but there's nothing he can do about it. He's going to see it in a couple minutes.
Maybe Tanner just hoping to see himself a couple of Battle VIP passes when we finally get the new hand here.
Well, we'll see where he goes to, shuffling up thoroughly after that mulligan. Wants to find one of those basics, preferably the Mew, I believe, but the Genesect, you know, would be fine just to get us going. There's the Mew right off the top, or a Oricorio. Some options in the hand I see already from our side camera here.
Yeah, has a quick ball as well, so he'll have plenty of options to get some Pokemon in play and hopefully get a reasonable turn up and rolling as the prize cards do now come out.
Yep.
Got to go over to the prize cam area.
Thanks, Tanner. There's that one switch, the Power Tablet, Cram-O-Matic, Rotom Phone, Ultra Ball, so no Pokemon so far, and the Tracking Shoes. So a lot of items. The one switch could be impactful if he's so liberal with those gusting switching cards as he was last game. But speaking of, I mean, there's a Boss's Orders and a cross switcher in there for Jeremy, so that could be something to consider. But we're right back in with Tanner going first. There's the Mew that we saw down earlier, and yeah, plenty to start digging with. So kicking it off with Cram-O-Matic.
Great way to start the game, especially when you hit a heads.
Yeah, getting the access to any card in the deck, gets to go in and have a good old count and check as well. But, you know, not to be outdone, we'll be able to grab exactly what he needs here to keep things going. And obviously, it's turn 1. It's time to pull that Battle VIP pass to the front, immediately play it. Let's get digging in that deck. 2 Genesect to follow it very, very quickly. Tanner definitely playing with an increased gusto about his play here.
Absolutely wants to make sure that if this game does complete with him being the victor, that there will be time for a game 3 to play out and potentially he can sneak out a win. And, you know, Tanner's actually fine with a tie here at this point after losing game 1 in this mirror match. I think he would be fine coming away with just 1 match point so he can get a win in the next round, hopefully. But, you know, gotta win this one to pull out a tie at this point.
Yeah, well, the tie here would set him at 32, which means the final round win would set him at 35.
Yes, exactly.
So it works out very, very nicely. Follows up that Cram-O-Matic with the quick ball to grab himself a Mew as well, being able to get a basic Pokemon.
And now Tanner will have the option to draw with the Fusion Strike system, of course, looking to advance the board still a little bit more. Maybe another Battle VIP pass, get some more Genesects up and running. We do see Oricorio comes down as well, and a double Turbo Energy getting attached.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice 4-card Fusion Strike system. There's the Mew VMAX, another Cram-O-Matic, Cross Switcher, along with the Power Tablet. Yep. So not a bad hand, but not everything he can play this turn as he just passes over to Jeremy by the looks of things. There we go.
No, not really 2 item cards that you want to discard for a Cram-O-Matic there.
No.
So
No,
Tanner
you
does
need those
think better
Power
of
Tablets, as we saw last game when he took the knockout.
And right away, Jeremy's holding onto that Avery at the top of the hand, and I wonder if that's how we'll kick this game off. Sure enough, force Tanner to discard something.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be, the Mew's going away, valuing that Oricorio very, very highly. You know, and the fact it makes Jeremy have to stretch a little bit further later in the game with these Mew VMAXs. You know, we'll have to go for the full stretch.
And discarding the Mew here is totally fine for Tanner because his active is not under threat, right? Jeremy's not playing Meloetta, Fusion Strike Energies. There's no shot this active is going to be dealt with this turn. So discarding the Mew is totally fine because you can just bench another one on the next turn.
Yeah, he'll be able to just pick one available. He's definitely got options to see that. And, you know, he's still got plenty of draw going for him as well. But the Battle VIP pass heading in for Jeremy, being able to get 2 Pokemon of his own. Tanner played 1. Jeremy's going to be able to go kind of crazy with his as well. So just doing his regulation count and check of the deck. It's going to be the Genesect to start things off. And
just 1 Pokemon.
Just 1 Pokemon off it. And then the Battle VIP pass again going in. Maybe being considerate of a potential Avery coming through from Tanner. Doesn't want to fall into that trap.
Or just has a bunch of Pokemon in hand. That also could be where we're at.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 Pokemon apiece off these Battle VIP passes. Looks like we're just checking.
Just a couple of VMAXs there in the hand, I think.
Yeah, just checking to make sure. You know, but he's still got another Pokemon he's allowed to grab. So he's going to be able to grab a Mew now and an Oricorio. Also, Oricorio, yeah, he's gone through the deck.
Oh, is there a 3rd Battle VIP pass in this hand?
That's crazy.
I think there is.
That's too many Battle VIP passes, Chip.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
3 Battle VIP pass, turn 1 for Jeremy. Are you kidding me?
Okay, I was wondering why he wasn't grabbing a Mew, but I found the answer. There's a 3rd one lurking in the back of his hand. So there it is, Mew and Mew V. Mew V just hitting the bench. So 3 Genesect, an Oricorio, and 2 Mew. Feeling pretty peachy if you're Jeremy in this one. Maybe he must have drawn the next one off that Avery at the beginning of the turn. So yeah, I was getting a little concerned for him why he wasn't using all of the options there. But clearly proved me nice and wrong there. Plenty of choices in this hand. The Mew VMAX is ready for the evolution. It does have the Pokestop, the belts can go down, and the Rotom Phone there as well if he wants to guarantee a great draw next turn too. So the Pokestop can keep things going if he really, really wants to. We'll say it's a big hand, so the Fusion Strike system not going to be the most impactful this time around.
Rotom Phone does come out. Look at the top 5 and pick one to leave on top. The others get shuffled back in.
You've got a Power Tablet, a Cramomatic, and a Quick Ball. The Quick Ball is kind of useless at this juncture, so I imagine the Cramomatic looking pretty tempting. But can he even access it this turn? Yes, he could. He has the Pokestop, but would he discard something way more important like a double Turbo Energy?
That is always the risk you take. Jeremy does at least have 2 Mew VMAX in hand, so he wouldn't have to be worried about losing too many of those off the Pokestop, most likely. And I think that's always what you're scared of when you're playing this Mew VMAX deck.
I believe it's going to be the Cramomatic going on top, but it's just deliberating a little bit further. The Cramomatic, being separated out, put on top of the Rotom Phone, so it makes a lot of sense there, just to keep on digging. But, you know, the big concern, if you grab the Cramomatic, if you do pull it off the Fusion Strike system, what is that you want to discard? I mean, you know, if you pull it with the Pokestop...
The 4th Battle VIP pass, maybe?
if you pull it off the Pokestop, why not?
Right.
If he's hit all 4, that's crazy.
That would be pretty wild.
That's too many.
Unacceptable.
I mean, it depends on what side of the coin you're on.
Yeah, fair.
If you're the player dropping all 4, you're very, very accepting of that.
Jeremy has not used a Fusion Strike system yet this turn. I think that's what they are talking about here.
Yeah, just getting a little bit knocked around by that. Pokestop grabbing Cramomatic, an Avery, and another Pokestop. So a loss of the Avery, but he's already played one and already kind of had its impact. But that's both of them now in the discard.
And can always reuse one with the Pal Pad later on, like we mentioned. Here comes the Cramomatic. And it does hit a heads, okay.
Yep, being able to play that one out. I mean, the big concern right now is he doesn't have a way to, you know, do anything this turn. Just needs to kind of set up really nicely for the next turn. So this Cramomatic could definitely help him out, but it's another look through the deck, map out that following turn as well.
Any one card available, and Jeremy does eye up the Cross Switcher. Does already have one in hand as well, so... On game 1, Jeremy went for the boss on turn 1. Are we going to see a Cross Switcher on turn 1 try to slow Tanner down as much as possible?
Slow him down after cutting his bench size right down. So the double Cross Switcher would also open up options for the Fusion Strike system.
Yes.
Would be able to get a little bit done that way. He's going for it once again. Double Cross Switcher into the Genesect. That was exactly his play last time as well. And then the Choice Belt, no energy available this turn. There are Fusion Strike systems to go, though. So there's going to be 3 cards off that one. Another Genesect, a Power Tablet, and another Cross Switcher. So nothing you can really dump out of the hand right now.
It feels like Jeremy's strategy when going second in this mirror match is be as annoying as possible. Force your opponent's Pokemon into the active spot. Force them to find their switching cards. Burn too many resources. And that's exactly what happened in game 1. Tanner went through too much, and a small mistake there at the end ended up costing him.
Yep, and it's going to be a Pokestop right off rip for Tanner, discarding a Marnie, an Avery, and a
no
Pokestop.
Item cards.
That is a pretty bad one, actually. I'd say the Avery going away is really big here for Tanner. You know, with it being his only copy, it's not going to be able to cut down that bench size, so Jeremy's going to be enjoying all 3 of these Genesect Vs for the whole game. Cramomatic discarding a Power Tablet, not even trying to reach on this one, but a Tails hit on that one for Tanner. So this turn will rely pretty heavily, I think, on this Marnie in hand.
And that is a really big Tails, because if Tanner had hit a heads there, he had one Cross Switcher in hand already, so that is going to be his easy way out of this Genesect getting dragged into the active spot. Now off of Marnie and some Fusion Strike systems, he's going to really need a lot, and I don't see much here in this hand. A couple of Mew VMAX, and because a Mew got discarded last turn, they're just going to be clogged up here in the hand.
There's nothing he can do on this one, but he does have to commit one of these double Turbo Energies to the Genesect.
This is
the only way to switch. The Choice Belt follows up onto the Mew VMAX. And then, of course, you know, he's going to start Fusion Strike system as well. So drawing just one. It's going to be the Power Tablet. That's going right down. There's going to be another card here off the following Fusion Strike system.
Another Power Tablet.
But, you know, what's he going to hit with it? You know, he's spending the Power Tablets to knock out the Oricorio. Seems kind of wasteful.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a tough-looking spot here for Tanner Hurley. He was really hoping to get bailed out, but was only able to draw 1 card apiece off of each of these Fusion Strike systems. So though Cross Fusion Strike can take the KO with Technoblast, Tanner will get the first prize card, but his board and his hand is not strong at all.
The big concern with that Technoblast as well is, you know, yes, he's got rid of the Oricorio, that's great, but he has no Mew to be able to bounce back into the next turn. There's no way to make a nice quick reset. Obviously, this Mew deck, very versatile, being able to run through a lot of options. So, over to Jeremy now. He's got the Mew both charged up with a Choice belt. You know, he is going to have to dig a little bit further. Obviously, he does have those new VMAXs available. We know that those are just chilling in hand from the last time.
Yes.
But certainly not looking exactly what he wants.
Well, his hand did get sent to the bottom of the deck last turn. Let's not forget. The Marnie from Tanner did disrupt him quite a bit.
Oh, well, ooh, 2 quick balls and a discard on the double turbo energy from that Pokestop. So a pretty devastating one there for Jeremy. But he does have access to the Cram-O-Matic. It's going to be an important one. See if he can hit a heads on this. It is, yes.
Very nice. And this can help set Jeremy up for whatever he wants to do this turn. Does he want to go after a 2-prize Pokemon on the bench, target down a Genesect when he knows that Tanner has kind of a weak hand and is in a weak position, target this draw power, take a Fusion Strike Pokemon out of play, or do you reach for the big one-hit KO on the Mew, which is going to be a lot harder to do since Oricorio is down.
It's a long way away. With the Oricorio being present on Tanner's side, he's going to require pretty much every modifier in his deck to be able to do that, and I just don't think that's an option. Maybe he could target down the Oricorio if that's something he wants to get rid of. Obviously, that looking at the way the game played out last time, being able to take that single prize at some point works out very nicely. But there's the energy onto the Mew V. Not a Mew VMAX yet, though, so not exactly what he is needing. There is, of course, more ways to keep digging through the deck, and it's going to be a shuffle after that. So just before keeps going, I know Jeremy has the trekking shoes available too.
Yeah, Jeremy's turn is far from over. That is for certain. Able to use trekking shoes to dig. Still has Fusion Strike systems. We've got Quick Ball to get another Fusion Strike Pokemon out.
That's the trekking shoes.
I think that is a Mew V as the draw.
Yeah.
So maybe Jeremy debating if he wants the basic Pokemon or to just discard it to see one more, and does find the VMAX off of it.
That's absolutely bonkers, being able to hit that, discarding the basic one to be able to keep on going. It looks like we're going to be thinning the hand a little bit more. Ultra Ball, doubling, getting rid of the Power Pad and the Quick Ball, so no way to try and get some of those supporters back in, but just able to check everything in his deck. He's shown just making sure the Fusion Strike systems are properly checked, so he's definitely got a little bit more dig to go in this one.
And you can see as soon as Tanner sees that Pal Pad hit the discard pile, he's picking up Jeremy's discard, wants to take a look and see exactly, okay, how many Boss are down, how many Avery are down, how many Marnie have you played, what are things you're not going to be able to get back now?
Yeah, they're absolutely done for. But the 4th Genesect coming out from that Ultra Ball, so getting that out the deck just to keep on going. Needs to make sure that one of those is tapped, just to make sure we track that they're all been used. There we go. Nice and clean, and a full empty hand for 6.
Beautiful.
Definitely digging for these potential huge power tablet plays. There's 1.
There's 3. There's actually 3 in the hand. The first card was a power tablet as well.
And the Rotom Phone. So if you can hit it off the Rotom Phone, that could be a way to do it.
And he's also got Silene in hand, so if he could hit a heads on the Silene, that would be the modifiers necessary. And if Jeremy finds this KO, Tanner does not have a response. Tanner has no Mew V to come back with. So Jeremy would score this KO, and Tanner would be 2 turns behind effectively. Yeah, let's just check the discard. Like you say, the power tablets, yes, they're leaving them on the table, but they are going into the discard because they're immediately played and just tracked for the duration of the turn. So this Ultra Ball's kind of wasteful. It's kind of clogging things up. He's going straight for it with the Silene. Needs 1 heads at least.
Ooh, there's 1 tails.
Needs this one.
And there's a double tails.
And that is actually really punishing now for Jeremy. He'll be able to swing for 310
still got
damage.
the Rotom Phone. Cram-O-Matic.
Is there a tablet, the 4th and final one?
No.
Doesn't find it
but he
quite
got the
yet.
Cram.
Okay.
Okay, so he's got the Cram-O-Matic. He's also got a very thin deck. He's got the Cram-O-Matic, the Ultra Ball he can get rid of. Doesn't need that right now. So you can Cram-O-Matic and then just Fusion Strike system through your deck. He's also got a ton of Fusion Strike systems to go. If he's able to keep the hand thinning, he must have checked as well that the 4th tablet is in there. So yeah, he's going to draw that Cram-O-Matic.
Just needing that 4th tablet here.
There
and
it
it is. He does draw it. He'll be able to 1-hit KO this Mew VMAX, and I don't know if Tanner can do anything. He agrees.
There he goes.
Scoops it up, and Jeremy gets to 12 wins here in Baltimore.
Crazy. The 4th power tablet play pulled off so nicely. I think Jeremy had so many options to get all the way through to it. Being able to draw with 3 more Fusion Strike systems felt so good, but what fantastic play. And Tanner getting to go first with this deck both times. Jeremy just being able to play it to the absolute max.
Yeah, things definitely did not quite go Tanner's way in that one. Jeremy's strategy of just gusting on turn 1, trying to be as annoying as possible. Force Tanner to find those switching cards, force him to overextend maybe in certain spots. Really paid off big time. And then Tanner's mistake there at the end of game number 1, definitely a brutal thing, but that's just the nature of Pokemon.
It took me a minute to know. I was thinking about that turn. I was like, was there anything else Tanner could do? I was mulling it over, and obviously, we were talking about it, but I was like, what about the Oricorio? Why did you not go for that? And it just feels bad, man, to be able to miss a win condition like that. But, Tanner's still a top player. Let's not take that away.
Absolutely.
And you've got to be honest, I think the way that Jeremy played the game, this kind of non-conventional strategy, and maybe something I'd love to talk to him about it later, how do you win the mirror? Well, just don't let them play for a turn, and then their one-turn advantage they got is eradicated.
Yes, absolutely. Very excellently